There are a lot of different types of robot vacuums on the market, but I don't think you've seen anything like this before. It's the DreameBot L10S Ultra. It's a fully automated robot that not only cleans the floor, it cleans itself. At the base station, those two pads on the back will not only wash itself, but they will dry for use again. Is it any good? Well, we're gonna find out in this review. So sit back, relax, and get your popcorn ready. And cue! Let's start by taking a look at the base station for the DreameBot L10S Ultra. When you open up the lid, the first thing you're going to notice is there's two compartments, and those are your dirty water and fresh water compartments. It also has a quick start guide on the bottom of the lid, which is very handy just in case you forget what to do, and there are QR codes there as well to direct you on your phone. But essentially what you have to do is you put fresh water on this side, and then you put it in, and then as the mop is cleaning and then it cleans the mopping pads, all the dirty water goes into this compartment, and so then you would eventually empty that one out and then put fresh water in and rinse and repeat. And so that solves a big problem of these previous generations of these robot mopping vacuums. Is what were you going to do with that dirty mop? Well, this one will clean it and put that dirty water inside that bin. So let's go ahead and start with the installation. I'm basically naming the room that this robot vacuum is in, and right now I'm in my Airbnb suite, so I'll write that down to basically set the room. I could also change the name of the robot itself, so if you want to have a custom name, you can do that. You can also invite different family members within the app to be able to operate it. Say if you're on vacation or you're not at home, you can have someone else operate it for you. And then it just basically gives you some tips and tricks to get it up and running. But the first step is to map out your room, and that's what I'm doing right over here. I've set it up, and now it's going to go and figure out where it is inside this room, because there's built-in AI inside of this robot vacuum. So the DreameBot is going to basically scan and map out this room for its own knowledge when it's going to do the cleaning cycle. But what was interesting is it goes straight to the bathroom first, and I've never seen a robot vacuum actually have enough power to make it over that ledge. But here's the problem. Now it realizes that it's stuck. It doesn't know what to do. Thankfully, in the app, you can actually set no-go zones. But because this was the initial mapping, I just wanted to see what would happen in this case. So it's kind of seeing that. I was like, all right, you need some help. So I picked it up, put it back
Wheels
down.
are not in contact with the ground.
And then
Please reposition the robot and start it again.
So that's interesting. I've never seen a robot vacuum give that kind of a notification. So now I'm starting again, and I was wondering and I was curious to see if it would go back into that room, really test that AI out, but it seemed to know that it shouldn't go there, and then it proceeded to map out the rest of the room. There really seems to be a method to the madness in the way that it scans the room, but essentially it's trying to go to all the different types of corners. It did have some issues over here at the edge, and so again, I would probably make that a no-go zone during the normal operations. At this point, I was wondering what it was doing in the kitchen, and I wanted to see how it was interacting with the mats that I have. And those are standing mats, so that your feet don't hurt. It went up and down it no problem, and so I think it can do a good cleaning and mopping job on those mats. Anything like that is going to be pretty simple for it to do. It does have a lot of power. But it looks like it's already finished, so now it wants to dock back into the base station after it's finished the mapping features. So let's just watch how it does that. It basically is like looking at that, and then it's just going to do a 360 turn and back itself right back into that base station. And what's really interesting about this base station is there's a section there where the water will come down and it will clean those mopping pads and then dry the mopping pads later as well. It takes about 2 hours for the mopping pads to dry. But this is the most unique base station I've ever seen in a robot vacuum. And so you can hear it right now. Let's see what it says.
Mapping completed.
Yeah, so the map's completed.
Start charging.
I let it charge for a bit, and then I was ready to do its first cleaning job. Now, as a robot vacuum, I know it's going to do a stellar job. It's got 5300 PI, I believe. That's that suction power, which is probably the highest I've seen.
Insufficient water. Please fill the clean water tank.
And I didn't read the instructions. I totally forgot that I forgot to fill the water in. So what's interesting is it will say that in the app. So if in the event that you do run out of water, you'll get that notification. And then it just simply reminds you that you need to put fresh water in. Because I showed this out before, totally forgot that I didn't put water in it. But I'm putting water in now. There is a line on the side, and I'll try to show it to you right over here, that tells you the max water that you can put inside there. But it's super simple. Just fill it up, take it to the base station, and then place it in. Like I said, it's going to use that water, it's going to get the mop wet, and you can set in the app the amount of water that you want it to use up. But here we go for the first cleaning job, and I wanted to check and see how do these mops, these mopping pads, compare to all the other different types of robot vacuums that I've reviewed in the past. And I am thoroughly impressed. 180 reps per minute is what it's doing right now, and it's actually getting the floor wet, and it's cleaning it. It's scrubbing, not like these other, really entry-level types of robot vacuums. This is really on the premium side. You're looking at the Cadillac of robot vacuum hybrid. Doing a fantastic job of mopping. It's going in nice kind of order, going against the walls. I thought that was really intelligent. Then look at that, the door stop. I was like, what's going to happen here? It does have a void detection inside the app, so you can set that as well. But again, I was just using the default settings to see how the mopping looks. You can see how wet. And that once those mopping pads get dirty, I said again, it's going to go to the base station and clean. But here's another case, and I was going to show it to you a little bit later. But what happens when you're into carpet? You don't want those mopping pads hitting the carpet. And all the other robot vacuums that I've reviewed before have had that issue where that dirty mop is now rubbing all over the carpet, which is nasty. And I was like, for that reason, I would never use the mopping feature on these other robot vacuums. But what's ingenious about this one, again, look, I'm admiring the mopping job. It's like going down that line. As I was saying, the ingenious thing is those mopping pads can actually raise up. So when it has carpet detection, you can set that in the app. When it detects carpet, those pads will actually raise up so that it will only use the brush to suck out all the dirt and debris off the carpet, but those pads won't actually touch the carpet. Now, they can go up as much as 7 millimeters. So as long as your carpet is around 3 milliliters, then you have that kind of a gap between that. But there's nothing else on the market that has pads like that can raise up and down to go onto carpet. And then once it gets back to its base station, again, it will clean the mop. So this truly is a robot mop and vacuum hybrid. Typically, they would just do a bad job of both, but listen to it. Now it's sucking all the dirt out first. So there's a real procedure once it gets to the base station, because it's not finished yet. Now it's got to empty that out. It's got to clean the mopping pads, and then it's got to dry the pads. So there is definitely a process. And here's the bin right here. It's the 3-liter garbage bin. It should that bag should last for about 2 months in typical spaces, but of course it depends just how dirty your space is. But that's where the bag is. I forgot to show that originally when I first started this, but it's sucked everything up, and now it's going to initiate the cleaning of the pads, and that's where all that dirty water, when it's going to get sucked up and go into the dirty water bin. But this is fascinating. It's hard to see. We can't really get into the back there, but you can see that those pads are spinning. It's putting water, and it's getting it soaked, and it's scrubbing it all up, and then all that dirty water goes into the dirty water bin. And here we can just kind of give you a little example of how dirty that water is. So again, this does just a fantastic job of being a mop vacuum hybrid. I've never seen one that can do it like this. Let's just take a look at that water. It's kind of nasty. Look. And that gives you that peace of mind knowing that the mop has done a good job. That mopping pad is going to take about 2 hours to dry. And then you can do this pretty much daily. You can set it as schedule inside the app and then have this do that job and then just replace the water every now and then. Let me go ahead and open up the back of the DreameBot, because I forgot to show you that it does have a filter right there and also a little canister where all the dirt and debris goes. But that doesn't have to be very big because it's going to get sucked up and go into the dustbin later on. So I thought, it's a really good design. These mopping pads are just fantastic. Out of all the different types of robot vacuums that I've reviewed, I've never seen anything like this before. They've solved all the criticisms that I've had about these, and the pads do a great job. And let's go inside the app and just kind of show you a little bit about the setup procedures and how you would operate it inside of the app. Here you can see you can set up cleaning schedules. You can do it every day of the week. You can also see the accessory usage. This will tell you when you need to replace those accessories, so it kind of gives you a timeline. You don't have to guesstimate. All that information is going to be coming, and it does it based on the amount of use that it's had, and the app can tell all about that. AI recognition, that's a big feature about this, is to be able to recognize different things like slippers on the ground. It can avoid that because of the built-in AI. And you can do a lot of different types of customizations in terms of the cleaning methods. Here's a visual of the map. You can even go and edit the map and look at it from a 3D display, and that really impressed me. So it's trying to map out this room right here, and you can see it knows where the base station is. It's got that table and chairs. It's actually like a little bar that's inside of the suite, but it's trying to map it out, and that's through all the AI, the cameras that are built inside the DreameBot L10S Ultra. Now let's look at some of the cleaning customization options that you have inside of the app. You can obviously enable or disable self-clean. You could specify the drying time for the pads, and this all depends on how much you're going to use it. But if you find that the pads are still wet, you can increase the drying time. You could also adjust the carpet recognition, whether you want to avoid the carpet or adapt to the carpet, like I mentioned before, where the pads will come up. So lots of different customization features inside of this app. The DreameBot L10S Ultra right now at this point in time is my favorite robot vacuum mop combo out, hands down. This has the best design. They have basically fixed all the issues that I've had previously with robot vacuums, and they did it by just creating a stellar design and just a fantastic multifunctional base station. So if you're in the market for something that actually works, I highly recommend you try this one. I'm going to give it the handy Andy stamp of approval just because it addressed all the issues that I've had with robot vacuums. It created this innovative design, the base station, the pads clean itself and they dry. What is there not to like with the DreameBot L10S Ultra? Well, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about these robot vacuums. Are you ready to make that switch? I'd love to know. Once again, my name is Andy Baryer, Handy Andy, signing out. We'll see you again next time.